martial arts instructor. I've done that for 20 years. We're celebrating 20 years this month, actually today. I'm a, I guess, professional martial artist and your city council member. And now I'd like to introduce Nick Brummel.
Hello, my name is Nick Brummel. I've been on the council since January. I was appointed by the mayor and confirmed by city council. And I've lived in Blue Springs for a little over 13 years. And before that, I was on the Parks Commission, and that's about it. So, do you want to kick off projects, or do we want to, where do we want to go? I don't have any questions yet, do we?
No questions yet.
No questions.
Oh, well, I hear there's no sound. You check with the guys in the back. Oh, no, Brian says it's there.
Okay.
Okay. They were
Good
making
sound.
a lot of motion back there. Yeah, we'll go on with some projects. Nick and I and the rest of the city council, we had met for strategic planning, moving forward to move our city into the future, kind of looking for projects to do. As we were getting ready for that, we already have some on the books. We have our AA highway project, Eagles Ridge streetlights. We also have our 20-year pavement management program. That was a mouthful. Our sidewalk infill program, where we've gotten a lot of questions about that for infilling our sidewalks, expanding that up and down. Well, actually, the next one is the South 7 Highway sidewalk project, expanding our sidewalks up and down 7 Highway, making it a little more accessible for our pedestrians. Our Wyatt Road West, that also was a tough one to say. Working on some storm box installations on that. AT&T and Comcast and Spire getting the utilities, making it out that way. And then, of course, then going east on Wyatt Road as well.
The one on the east should be going in 2026. We should
Sorry.
have that road, so
Sorry.
it's a good one. Neighborhood street preservation, it is kicking off. It's been awarded, and we've already getting curbs done, and hopefully we start getting streets repaved here pretty quickly. And then we get a lot of phone calls about code violations or issues such as that. We're more than welcome to take them. We're more than welcome to take emails about it. We're more than welcome to let you guys do it on the website. But it is a process, and that's the concerning part, that we keep getting phone calls repeated of, hey, we turned this in and nothing's done about it. It's a week later, nothing's happened. So we thought we'd kind of give you guys a little rundown of how that goes down. So as soon as it's turned in, an investigator goes out and inspects it, and that's usually within 2 to 4 business days during the summer and 1 to 2 during the winter. And then if there is a violation, a letter is sent out, and a 10-day hearing is put on after that. And then they have 3 days after it gets mailed to, let's see here. So they have 3 days after the end of that, and then 5 days for tall weeds. So it is a process. They can appeal it for 30 days for inoperable vehicles. So it's not something that if you let us know on a Monday, it's going to be taken care of on a Friday. It is going to take some time, but we'll do whatever we can to help you guys out. What else we got?
I was hoping questions by now.
There are no questions.
All right.
You have people watching.
Okay.
Oh, perfect. Yes.
I drive around the city, and like 15th Street from Main south to 40 Highway, that needs to be redone, period. I mean, and there's a lot of other streets like that throughout the city. Ask my car and the tires and all that good stuff. But we really need to take care of our streets that have been there for a long time.
So part of that is the bond that was passed last year, that we're putting together a plan. And this is the first phase of it, is this year. If you're talking about 40 Highway, though, or you're talking about 7 Highway, that's out of our control. That's state, but we are working with those, and staff is working with them a lot closer, and hopefully we can start moving things forward as far as that's concerned. But as far as the roads, there is a map on the website. I don't know, can you put a link up there?
An interactive map.
An interactive map to show which streets are up for this year. And then Cochran Engineering, our engineering firm, will take a look at it again over the winter and figure out the next set of roads. And then we'll go ahead and put a bid out for those. So slowly but surely, we're going to get there. We're in a hole, but we're digging ourselves out. All right, what other questions? Mr. Mayor, are we missing anything? I guess we didn't even introduce you.
That's all right. I'm here to support you guys. So.
All right.
Perfect. So this is our mayor, Chris Levasseur, over here to the far right. We did not introduce him. He's going to wave to you guys. Thank you so much. Well, since we're not getting questions, Mr. Brummel, Councilman Brummel, what brought you to the city council?
Wow, nothing like throwing me on the spot here. What brought me to the city
questions.
council was, being part of the parks and seeing what goes on there is giving back and really learning what you can do to help the city and further it. And there's plenty of ways to do it. And I feel like with my experience with owning a small business and getting to know more what's going on the government side and just learning more about it is brought me here. What about you?
Same as a small business owner. Like I mentioned before, I own the dojo. It's a martial arts program we've had for a while. Unfortunately, with the pandemic and a martial arts program, that didn't go so well. I had a little bit of time to kind of sit back and kind of watch how things were going. Of course, I interacted like we all do, going to vote occasionally and doing those small things. But I started kind of paying attention to what was kind of going on in the city, who were making the decisions that were being made during that time. And so I started kind of looking into what can I do to fix that. When we did get open back up, I again done a little bit of homework. I joined the Chamber of Commerce here in town. I participated in the leadership program, which is an amazing program. If you're a business here in town, I think they have enrollment for that right now. I suggest you do it. What's really cool about it is you get to do field trips. They didn't like it calling that, but it's what they were. Where we got to go around and visit the city, see how the city worked. I got to visit the water treatment plant, which I didn't even know was out there. We got to visit the schools and kind of see how the city worked. And in doing that, I just figured like, hey, let's run for city council and see kind of how it goes. In 2023, I ran for the seat you currently hold. I unfortunately didn't win that one. And then we ran again here in 24, and here we are. Just trying to make the city a little bit better.
So why we still have people here, and I have some for you guys as well, but the Parks and Rec department right now is doing a survey of seeing what's good, what's bad, and what do we need to do different. They're working on updating their master plan. So, I mean, we have a great park system, and, let's see what else we can do here in the next few years, and everybody's opinion matters.
I'm going to jump off of that as well. That's one of the things as the city we've been trying to do a little more often. Like we are hosting next week, I guess, having a downtown streetscape, I guess open house would be the best way to say that.
A meeting on June 10th from 6:30 to 8:30 right here.
That would be the one I was discussing, yeah. But we also had a survey that went out before we started a strategic plan. We also had a survey that went out a little bit before that discussing this downtown plan. And now, because of the feedback we got from that, that's how we ended up with this streetscape. So
there are some questions.
There are some questions. I can offer some answers, but let me start with you guys. Do you have a website that can show the code violation, so that we can see the process in action, when it was received, when they responded to, etc.? Have any thoughts on that? We do not currently have that, I can tell you.
No, I mean, and you can always reach out to us and we can follow up too to see where things are at, but it is kind of a long process. But it will take time. As long as you turn it in, you're in pretty good shape.
We're also working on a new website, and that's something, the functionality we can look at for that as well. So, but yes, I would say follow up with your elected officials is always great.
And if you do find violations, please reach out again, either on the website, reach out to one of us, or to the city directly, so we can get that recorded and get moving on those code violations for you.
There's a concern about Halloween decorations still being up 2 years later. So I'd say that's probably more information, and we can follow up on that, and I'll respond accordingly. Do you have any thoughts on
No.
that?
Anything else?
Not so far.
Any
Nothing
questions
else.
in house? Yes, ma'am. Yes.
So, as you're telling people to follow up with their council member, what ways are you accessible to people?
Great question. Text, email, phone, all of our contact information is on the website. Would be the best way. Either I'm open anyway. I mean, we're happy to come out or at least I know I am happy to come out and meet anybody at their house if they want to and take a look at something if they have a real concern. I think we had one person wanting to see if we'd go for a walk with them. So we got that coming up.
We do. I'm excited for that. Also, I believe, I don't want to speak for Councilman Brummel here, but I'm also decently active on my Facebook page. If you message there, just make a post on it. Ask a question right now and we can get it added to our list of questions. Yeah. Thank you for your question, ma'am.
Anything else over there?
Nothing yet. I'm gonna put your contact information.
There you
Perfect. Thank you.
go. Doing
You-
such a great job over here.
We were doing great. Do you have a question?
Is there anything that you want to see done in your first year?
Wow. I feel like we've done one of those things already. I think getting the chicken ordinance through and passed and moving on to the next, I think was one hurdle that we saw coming. I definitely am looking forward to this downtown streetscape. I'm really excited for the strategic plan coming down the road, so we can again make a plan and stick to it and move forward. Probably past my city council days.
I will say for me, the biggest thing is seeing the streets change. I know it doesn't sound like a big thing, but seeing the bond that was passed and just seeing it actually come in fruition and seeing the streets being new streets being put in that everybody's asked for, I mean, since you joined city council, right? I mean, it's been something that's in the process and that we have the money now to be able to do it. It's not going to all happen in one day, but we have a plan. We're going forward. The city's moving in the right direction with that, with downtown. And so there's just a lot of positive movement right now and just keep going.
I'm excited having the new council people to sit with on the council as well. I think that's a really awesome thing. Again, I ran in 23. I would have been the lone new council person, but luckily when we came in here, we have Councilman Brummel, Councilman Tholen, and like again, it's exciting time. I do see some great things coming down the road. Speaking about roads, I know that is the hot topic always, forever. It comes up anytime that we're in Jeff City speaking to the state about their roads, 7 Highway, 40 Highway, and that such. But when we do make these improvements, it will unfortunately be a pain for us. The way that we are doing these streets now, we have a new asphalt. Again, I'm not a expert on asphalt, but this is supposed to be a much higher quality asphalt. And we'll be paving from curb to curb on this, which unfortunately that's going to force us to close the roads down completely. But the idea is it'll create less gaps and less corrosion down the road and hopefully keep these streets lasting longer. We're not having to go back and patch them every couple years.
I think we were told they were supposed to last 20 plus years with doing it this way. So hopefully that is the case.
So you do have a question from Mr. Markworth. So we have the street preservation plan moving forward. Any news on what's the next big thing for Blue Springs?
Mayor?
I mean, I could talk all day, but I'm not.
I mean, the streets are the huge thing, right? So that's the big thing. And then getting our strategic plans taken care of and then just figuring out where we go from there.
Downtown?
Downtown.
Talk about parks, maybe Blue Surf Bay, what park improvements, parks master plan.
I mean, yeah, with the Parks Master Plan, we have a couple new parks that are going to be coming in online after we start working on those. We have Central Park that we're looking at. But Blue Surf Bay was a huge hurdle to get that up and going and the way it's come back. And just the field house in general, to see the membership still up almost 200 people from what it was this time last year. So it's been a huge jump. People have maintained, people go there. Parking lot's always full, but we do have enough parking. So it's not overly crowded. But even
how's
opening
the traffic over there? Is it okay? I know
Traffic
that was
was great.
a
Yeah.
That was a concern previously.
Right, and it seemed to work. But it's amazing. Any time of the day, you go by the field house, and there's quite a few cars there.
You mentioned Southwest Park will be big for your district. You know, have any information on that?
It's coming soon.
So we're in the plan here.
We're in the planning for Southwest Park this year, and then some of that will start getting constructed next year and into 27. So that would be big for District 3. Yeah, White Road.
It'll be on Wyatt Road. hmm
White Road West, 12th Street will be that connection.
So it's 12th and Wyatt.
Maybe also talk about this will be the first budget year. Thoughts or comments about that process coming up?
So I sat in the first meeting today, kind of learning more about the budget. Yours is tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yeah.
We spent about an hour and a half just kind of going through the general funds and where everything is and where everything's allocated and kind of how everything breaks down. There's a lot more that goes into it than you would imagine. And, you know, the staff does an amazing job figuring it out and making sure that we have the money to spend and where we're going to put the money and where's the best spot to put the money. So it'll be a good hour and a half for you tomorrow.
I'm excited, and then I can answer those questions.
Exactly.
Nothing else yet?
Nothing else?
No? Want to talk maybe more about White Road and how that's going to benefit the district?
Yeah. So
More details on that process?
So we've actually got a new engineering modifying the design on Wyatt Road East right now. So we're going through that process right now. And then Wyatt Road East will go ahead and begin, it looks like the spring of 26. So it's a little bit farther behind than we wanted, but we're making sure it's the right way. Previously, it had been talked about ripping out all the new sidewalks, and now we're just going to infill those sidewalks. So we're saving some money doing that. And there's some better ways of doing it. So taking a little bit longer might not feel the greatest, but by doing it, we're going to save money and we're going to make sure we get it right.
And I guess that's the whole idea of the street improvement and then infill programs, is to make sure that we're, again, doing it right, not coming back and patching and fixing as we go along. Correct?
Correct. And that was part of the issue with doing the streets the way we're doing them, is if we do part of the street is how we used to do it, and then we'd go do another part of the street, and then the next year we'd come back and do a cul-de-sac. Well, the way they looked at it from the engineering standpoint this time is do an entire area, even if it doesn't quite need it. Let's make sure we do it. Let's do it. Let's not all do it the same, right? In the past, it was everything got a 2-inch overlay or a 1-inch overlay. Now they went out and core drilled and seed what was really there and are doing it what really needed versus just doing it ad hoc. So it seems like things are going to be moving in the right direction. It's not as quick as everybody would like, but it's definitely moving in the right direction, and it's going to make a huge difference slowly but surely.
There's a question, I guess, about downtown. Can you talk more about downtown, the improvements, what you expect out of that, anything out of that process? Person on Facebook says, we aren't Lee Summit, but love to have more local restaurants and shops downtown.
Same.
So first of all, we'd love to have you next on June 10th from 6 to 8:30 to come on down to that meeting. Would be ideal, but there's different thoughts on the width of the sidewalk, how the parking is going to look. The lumber yard right now, we have a proposal in to build apartments with some retail down below, and then we have the old church park or the old church property too that we don't know quite what we're going to do yet there, but we definitely have opportunities to expand downtown and revitalize it.
Yes. And I believe that we're at this meeting on Tuesday, 6:30 here on the 10th. We also have
What time?
6:30?
Yes.
Yeah, just checking. Thanks. I did write it down. Tuesday the 10th, 6:30 here. I understand that we are also going to choose some street lights as well. We're going to have some choices on that, get to be able to put some input in. And that's the great part with this meeting next Tuesday, the 10th at 6:30, where we get to use a little bit of input where you guys can come in and make some decisions on that. And again, one of the main things that we talk about, whether we're talking about putting the apartments in or bringing new restaurants in, is the parking down here. So that will be something that we also will be focusing on, making sure there's adequate parking. So when we do have a revitalized, happening, bumping downtown, we will have places to park for them.
So the question was, is there any proposals or any thoughts on how the parking is going to go? There's been 3 or 4 different designs of it that we're looking at. Do you keep with the parallel parking? Do you go vertical parking? And so on and so forth. So there are some different ideas, and I think that's going to be discussed too next week, and the designs are going to be shown. So there's some options out there, and literally there was a traffic study shown of how many parking spots were needed during certain hours. So all that information has been gathered, and it has been a lot of work behind the scenes, but now it's time to start showing it off and start implementing it.
So what the parking study was showing was the existing parking. This is my opinion and not theirs, but there is plenty of parking downtown. It's really more of directing residents as to where that parking is and making it to where downtown is the destination. So Bean Counter is not where you're going. You're going to downtown Blue Springs. You park somewhere and get to Bean Counter, or same thing with Scout Coffee or Brewers or any of those places. So some of that's just going to be providing information about where the parking is, the information about how the parking has been utilized, And then there are some other discussions about there are a lot of public lots downtown that people just don't know about. The church property is a big one as well. Can you talk maybe more about the strategic planning process and how downtown was a part of that?
I guess I'll take that. So I believe it was like a month ago. We sat down, the mayor, the city council, and we worked on our strategic plan for the next, was it 15 years strategic plan type situation? We talked about a lot of different things, how we wanted to basically start moving the city forward, and what that downtown was going to be, I think, the catalyst for that. We want to make sure that we bring in businesses that make sense. We want to make sure that we have destinations like we talked about. We have some great businesses already on our downtown, and we want to make sure we protect them, and that any of the improvements we do not hurt them or make them go out of business because we bring in a competitor business, or we change the parking where people can't park out front, and maybe they're a business where they do need parking out front. But we want to make sure that we're bringing in a diverse group of businesses. So you're coming down for bean counter, but you stick around for something else, or you're coming down for dinner and then we go over. This sounds like a dream date, doesn't it? And we go over to East 40 after that, or whatever it is. But we make that a destination. We have the parking where you can come down, again, not necessarily park in front of bean counter, but use the public lot that's across the street from where we're at. You can't see it because you're online. Or use the church parking lot. And I know a lot of times for parking, a lot of people are coming downtown currently because of Fall Fun Fest, and those parking lots are taken up with either the carnival or the beer garden over in the public parking lot. So, but there are a few more places, I guess, options for that we'll look into.
And one of the options is to do the sidewalks a lot wider and be able to have tables out there and activities out there. And if a store wants to have some of their stuff out front, they would have that. I mean, there was talking 8 to 10 foot wide sidewalks, and up to 20 foot. So there's just so many different options that are out there, and it's not just us making that decision. That's why we have these meetings coming up, and really want everybody to get involved, and it's everybody's downtown. So it's our one chance of getting this right, and we're going to take our time and make sure we get it done right.
Where they used to have the old lumber yard there and they tore it down. I assume the city owns that property.
Go ahead, take that.
Yeah, so there was a proposal. We put an RFP out probably back in November to see if anybody was interested in developing that as far as a multifamily unit. We had 2 proposals come back, and the committee selected one, and then city council approved to go ahead and have them pursue farther on to it. So they're looking to do, is it 120 units or so? Is it over 200? And some retail underneath. So it's going to be a few stories high and have all the way from 1 bedroom up to 3 bedrooms. Yes, it'd be rental. It'd be multifamily.
A+ apartments, something
Yes.
like that.
Yep.
A+ rated.
And they're talking about at least having 10,000 square feet of retail down below. So it could be a restaurant. It could be, I think that was kind of the thought process of getting a restaurant in down below there too. And then they would have parking within it. It's kind of an L shape. It's kind of how they had it designed, and then parking in the middle. And that's one of the things that we're making sure that there's plenty of parking for them as well.
We're working on it.
Yeah. So it's a finance agreement first, and then they'll present to us what their final plans look like, and then we'll kind of go from there. So it's probably at least 6 months to a year away is what I would assume. And then construction for a couple of years. So it's going to be a little bit, but again, we want to make sure that we get it right. We don't want to just rush something and then go in 5 or 10 years go, ooh, I wish we would have done this. So that's the biggest thing is, let's just take our time and make sure we get everything right.
We'll talk more about Central Park or more about strategic planning.
Well, Central Park, we'll be talking about that next week too, because there was options with the downtown. So Central Park will also be talked about next week with the downtown. There was 2 or 3 options of what we could do at Central Park. One of the options was open it up and make the walking trail bigger. One of the options was to kind of do a amphitheater over there. So there's some options with that as well, and because it's kind of an underutilized park, and there's a nice pond back there that you just can't get to because of all the overgrowth. It is right back here.
It's behind the train depot ish, behind the community garden.
Where the
So if
community
you park
garden
in
is.
that parking lot with the community garden and trek down that way.
So
A hidden gem.
There will also be some funding discussion after the community development block grant. Ways to make that actually happen.
Yeah.
Take one in the audience first. I got it. Don't worry.
Yeah, so I'm pivoting here a little bit, well, quite a bit. So, one of the things that you wanted to accomplish was the backyard hen ordinance, which has been a really big deal in our community, a really dividing issue in our community. So, it's important to celebrate that, but also be aware that there is a large population in the city that was really nervous about this. And so, what can you tell us specifically about the ordinance that might put some minds at ease? Because I know a lot of people have kind of a vision in their head, in their mind about what this looks like for the community, and nerves are high. There's concern about decreased property values. So some people that maybe aren't as familiar with the ordinance, what kind of peace of mind can you offer?
I told you she was going to come with the hard stuff, guys. To start off with, I think one of the things that we really look at is we look at the other communities around us that do have chickens already. So we look at Lee Summit, Liberty, and I couldn't tell you how long they've had the chickens, but I know that their property values are not being affected by that. Some of the things that we looked at when we were passing that ordinance is we were making sure that people were protected. So if you do hear or smell, which were major concerns from people, if you hear or smell these chickens, then you need to contact your city council person, contact the city, and then we would come out and inspect that to make sure that they were working within the confines of what the ordinance covers. Basically that ordinance is supposed to protect the people that have the hens, that are also protecting the hens to make sure that we're not using inhumane ways to keep them, and then also to protect the property owners around them. So if there's an issue or problem, I believe that what we put through is pretty cut and dry. And then it would, like I said, if you're having an issue or problem like the neighbor's dog's barking too much, you hear the chickens, or the smell is too much, then we would come out, inspect it, and take care of it that way. Yeah.
Nailed it.
Would you like to add anything to that? We've
Pretty
only
much.
talked about it like nonstop for 4 months.
Yep, you nailed it all there. I mean, that's pretty much the ordinance in a nutshell.
Another one online.
So Brian asked, other than streets, what is another common complaint that you hear in the city or that council members receive? And what is some opportunity that you guys or we are working to handle those things?
So one is about signs around the areas. We hear about that quite a bit, that people are putting signs in right of ways, and people have signs at street signs or at intersections. We're aware of them. We're working to get them removed. I think we're going to do at least once a week. They're going to do a sweep through the city on the major corridors to make sure that we try grabbing those. But it just gets a little difficult to prosecute when you don't have a name of a business on there and we don't see them put it out. So it makes it tough for the city to go after them. But we're working on ways to try figuring out a better way to do it. But the best thing we can do right now is pick up the signs and just move forward. We are disposing of the signs, not leaving them somewhere for someone to come pick them back up, but they will be getting picked up. That's one of the biggest things. The second one is tall grass, and we've kind of talked about it, that, definitely report it, and we can kind of go from there and go through the process. It is a process, but it's not going unheard.
On both of these, or actually any of these issues that we were talking about, again, the most important part is to contact us. If we don't know there's an issue, we can't be all over the city all the time. So if there is an issue, we need to know that we need to address it, whether it's tall grass, whether it's, again, chickens being too loud, or whether it's signs in the right of ways. But we're just doing our best to take care of those situations and to clean them up the best we can. But reporting them, I know that it seems like you're just snitching on people or you're putting more work on our lap, but that's what we're here to do. So please reach out.
We emphasize that those signs are not legal.
Oh, those signs are not legal signs. Correct. If you legally are putting your signs, great. If they're legally posted, we will pick it up.
And then potholes was another one that was a big one, right, throughout the winter and everything. But the staff did over 6,000 potholes in a 4-week period. So just, I mean, put that in perspective. They went to almost every single street. Did they miss a pothole here or there? Yes, but then they came back. So that's another thing, is if you do see it, report it. Animal control is another huge one. It's back in house now, and from what we're hearing, they're doing a great job. But if you have an issue, definitely report it. If you see something, report it. That's the biggest thing. None of us can be everywhere at once, and neither can staff. So if you see something, let us know. We can only correct it if we know about it. And the only thing that we can do is voice your guys' concerns, and that's what we're here to do.
And correct me if I'm wrong. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But if we had discussed with MoDOT, if there are potholes and potholes, not completely reconstructing, if there's potholes on 7 or 40, we can infill those or try to take care of them, patch them for the moment. And again, if we don't, we can do our best to fix those. But again, reaching out to us if we have a record of that, that's something we can take when we do talk to MoDOT about repairing or fixing those streets as well.
Anything else? And we have been talking with some of the legislators. We've got a pretty good relationship with at least one of them. And then monthly now, our staff here at the city is meeting with MoDOT as well, and forming a better relationship so that we can make sure that projects are getting done correctly, and that both are communicating and doing what we can to improve Blue Springs, because we kind of feel we're unique by having 40 highway and 7 highway as our major corridors, and we're not responsible for it, or can't really do a whole lot with it, right? So we have to have that great relationship with MoDOT to ensure that they're making sure that they're taking care of it, and know that, hey, we're watching. We really need your help to make sure that our city stays beautiful.
And we are unique in that there's not a lot, not that I can think of off the top of my head, there's not a lot of cities around us where you cannot, it's very hard to traverse the city without using 7 or 40 highway. Whereas like Lee Summit, where their major state roads go through, you don't even have to get on them at all at some point. So, but yeah, that's definitely something we've been looking into, talking with MoDOT, and obviously Representative Fowler, I guess, is our person that we have our close relationship with, who used to sit right up here. So yeah, it's perfect.
There's a way to report all of that online.
There's a way to report not only potholes, codes issues, many things online. I'll put that link in the chat. And so that's way, in addition to contacting your council person, it gets tracked better if it's in the online reporting system. So I'll put that in the link.
He's doing a great job.
He's doing awesome.
Anything else?
Keep talking about strategic planning. While we talk about future of the city, that kind of stuff.
We'd love to hear what you guys want too. Like, what does the District 3 need? What do you guys want? I mean, that's the biggest thing, and that's the reason why we wanted to host this, is to get our name out there, get our faces in front of you guys, and then also ask, what do you guys want? What can we do for you? We're here, we're a voice, and we're ready to help. So that's my biggest push.
I would agree. Councilman Brummel, when we first got together, our first coffee we had together to get to know each other, to figure out where we're going to go, the first thing he mentioned to me is doing this town hall, which ironically on my notes was to have coffee chats or whatever to reach out to people. But like the mayor said, relationships are good relationships, I should say, are how we move things forward. If we have a good relationship with the people in Blue Springs, it's going to help us do our job better. And then if we continue to have that good relationship with our representatives at the state level, with MoDOT and other communities around us, it's only going to improve the city. That's one of the things that we actually did talk about in the well, not necessarily strategic plan, but that's what Mr. Brummel and I, Councilman Brummel and I, discussed. We're hoping to do these things more often, and the more we do them, hopefully we get some more questions, some more involvement with it. This is a brand new thing, but we can I say that? We both think that it's important to get out to the people, to continue to make ourselves as accessible as possible. Again, our phone numbers are on there. Call or text, an open invite. Call or text, shoot us an email, reach out to us on Facebook or any other social media. But the way that we get things done, the way we serve the community better, is by being in and part of the community. Now, again, we're business owners in the community. We're parents. We have kids in the schools in the community. We're plugged in, but we don't know. Again, we can't be everywhere and know what everyone's thinking or what everybody would like to see. So please let us know, and then we'll try to help move that forward.
Yeah, we're not down your neighborhood street all the time, and if there's something going on and you feel like you want to reach out to us, or if you want to fill out the form online, you're willing to do that. Like, the city's here to help you, and we're here to help as well.
Got a question. Any plans for South 7 Highway or the old Plowboy specifically?
Nothing that I'm aware of as far as the Plowboys. And yeah, there's nothing. There was a rumor a while back, but there's nothing concrete or nothing that's come across to us. So hopefully something comes in there soon. It'd be a great spot for another restaurant. We'd love to have it on the south side of the
Notice it
town.
needs to be mowed.
And it needs to be mowed.
But other than that, I don't have no idea. There's no plans on that, or there was a Beefaroo came up at some point, but those are closing everywhere.
Yeah.
P.S.
So, another question?
Yep. Somebody asked, they came late, so where can they view this later? It will stay on Facebook later, so they can review it after the fact as well.
We'll talk about public safety. Citizens Police Academy.
I'll be taking it this fall, so if you want to.
Oh yeah,
Talk about it.
This is gonna be so fun for you. This is great. Blue Springs Citizens Police Academy is again. I found out about this through the leadership class. We got to tour the police station and get to talk to Chief Muntz. Then to get a little bit further into it, the Blue Springs Citizens Police Academy is a once a week deal that kicks off in the fall, I believe. There is a wait list. You can sign up for that on the city website, I believe. But you try to get logged in, get registered for that as quick as you can. You get to see kind of what our police officers do within a day. You get to do a ride along, which is pretty awesome. We do a little forensics. You listen to a couple calls, which is not, by the way, for the faint of heart, but you get to see kind of what goes on in the city. There's a lot of stuff that I learned or didn't know was going on in the city, or how they, I guess, police the city. But if those are things that you're interested in, or if you feel like one of the things that it did is it built definitely more respect for our police officers. Not that I didn't before, but man, like those are like real people going out every day, just like Councilman Brummel and I, and they leave the house and they make sure that we all stay safe. And some things that honestly I take a little bit for granted. I get up, I go to work, I do my stuff, and they make sure that I can do that every single day. But if you want to get an in-depth look into that, definitely do that Blue Springs Citizens Police Academy. And again, it's Citizens Police Academy. It's free of charge. So you just gotta, as a citizen, just register yourself and get into that. Not this fall, because
Do you want to talk about VIPs?
I don't quite get VIPs. I understand that it's the next step on this Blue Springs Citizen. It's a volunteer program, volunteer in police services. Thank you. I was trying to put it together. Volunteer in police services. They basically kind of get to help out the, I guess with the police. They can do, I know that a lot of times they're out here doing security for when we do Fall Fun Fest. That's all I know so far about that.
From what I know, they also will move the radar trailers.
Oh, okay.
So if you do have a huge issue with speeding and all that, you can put a request in to have a radar trailer put up to let people know, hey, you're going too fast in my area. That's something we've heard from time to time is about, people are driving too fast in neighborhoods. And so that's one way to kind of curb that. The chief tells us that, moving those trailers around and putting them up is a huge thing. So I will say that our force has done really well. I mean, our vacancies are pretty low, so it's a desirable police force to be on. So that's positive. Our community is safe, and things are moving in the right direction. With that, do you got anything else?
Is there other things VIPS does? I kind of want to know now.
So it's an opportunity to volunteer with the police department to supplement the things that they do. You've mentioned several of the things they do most often, traffic control, helping out with events, but even as much as we have a desk out in the foyer that they can be there to help answer questions for the community. We've even had people back in the day work in property crimes and in property and help catalog and that kind of thing. So it really depends on the needs of the department at the time. The Citizens Police Academy Alumni Association also helps with funding and additional resources for the department as well. So lots of good opportunities there. Got another question here. How do you sign up for the Citizens Police Academy? And, well, let's start with that one.
Well, how'd you sign up?
Well, again, I signed up. I did the leadership program when I was graduating from that. I actually, Chief Muntz does the graduation every year. He speaks to us and tells us how great we did, and it was a pleasure to meet us. And then he brought up the Citizens Police Academy, and I asked him directly, how do I get registered? Being part of the leadership program did help me figure that out. But I did find later when I was playing with our city website to look up something else, that there is a place on there to sign up for it. I believe it's in the, I'd have to roll through it and find it, but just go to the Blue Springs City website and you should scroll through and find it.
Also, a shameless plug, on there you can volunteer for things too. We have a lot of boards and commissions, and definitely if you want to get involved in something, it's a great place to go to the website and fill out the form and see if there's an opening in your district.
Good plug. So, question from David. I'm sure this is more of a school district issue, but with all of the housing development happening in District 3, how will schools successfully accommodate the population growth?
Definitely a school district question, but anytime we go to do a development, or the comment's been brought up with the multifamily of, hey, you're bringing on 200 more families or 300 more families, it is a conversation with the school districts and talking with them, because we are unique by having multiple school districts within our community. It's not just Blue Springs school districts. We have Lee Summit and we have Green Valley as well. So it's a conversation that we all have from the council of, before we do something, is asking that question of how does this affect the schools as well, and making sure that we at least have an open dialogue and a communication with them to see if it all makes sense for everybody.
Summer camps that you do, and that fits up with those as well.
So we have Girls on Fire. I don't have the dates. And
June, the first one is this week, so it was June 2nd through the 5th.
And then there's one in July, and that's when my daughter's doing it.
Oh.
I knew that much. And I mean, they're a great program. That's all we've heard about is how amazing they are. And then the boys program is in
Life Sports.
Life Sports. And when is it? Does anybody know?
There's two of them. There's a June and July in that one as well.
I feel like you set us up on that one, not having the dates. But no, both of those, and they do sell out, and they do sell out quick. I do know that much. But it is. I've heard nothing but great things about it in both programs, and so I'm excited for my daughter to do it this year and come home and tell me all about it. And your children have done it, right?
They have.
All right.
I can give you the dates if you're right. Vips does help with that as well. You should have the dates.
Oh, you don't have them up? Don't worry about it then. What else you got, Jeremy? We got a minute or so, and we can call it at 6:45 unless we got more questions.
But I do have some more questions.
We do have more questions.
Okay, Brian, you're using acronyms. I'm assuming we're in a good place for FIFA. I'm not sure. Influx of police presence. How has the city supported local businesses to take on the extra population?
The soccer.
FIFA. Okay, he's talking about
FIFA.
World Cup.
Yeah. World
You're
Cup.
talking
Thank you.
World Cup. There you go.
Do you want me to talk about it? Clearly. So with the art commission, there's something that's coming in town. We're looking to do a temporary exhibit with that, and also with that we'll link the Hearts program that you guys have all seen throughout the Kansas City. There's the Hearts all over. Well, that program is wanting to do something with soccer balls this year, and with that they're also going to have an app. Well, on the app we'll have attractions, and if people start looking at the app and it talks about Blue Springs, we can have restaurants, we can have different things, we can have the art that we have here. So hopefully we're going to attract some people to come on out to Blue Springs, and hopefully get some more people that way. And that's about it for World Cup, other than I'm sure we'll have a watch party. Some of our local establishments will have some watch parties, but other than that, it's just kind of.
Brian's asking about police services, more people being in our community.
I'm sure we are. That'd be a chief question. Yeah.
Can we phone him? Can we call him in?
Yeah, so we are having additional planning meetings with the World Cup. There is a local emergency management team as well, led by Central Jackson County. And so all those conversations being had about police services, emergency services, even hospitals, transportation will be a big part of that. So all those conversations the city is involved in.
Any other questions? Brian got another one for us?
No. he just
Brian's
wrote
coming in
down
hot with all the questions.
World Cup, so. Another one in the audience.
So back on public safety, touching on public safety, I have heard concerns of an increase in unhoused population in our area, and that being a safety concern potentially. Is there actually any data to support that we've had an increase in an unhoused population? And if there is this on the radar for the city to address it with our police force? And are we considering future plans if we continue to see an increase with this?
So I know we have community officers that are trained to help with this. I know we have programs, and it's something that we're going to have to keep addressing as things keep changing, right? If it does increase. But for right now, our officers are trained to take care of the situation, or at least get them help and get them what they need. Other than that, I know people in the community are helping out as well. But as far as the council situation, it's not something that we've addressed yet.
We did discuss it a little bit at our strategic planning, because again, it is something that we do need to look forward to coming down, because it is only, unfortunately, with the economy and just as the cities grow, that's going to be a growing concern that we have. There's a lot of programs I know that are in more of, I guess it's Western Jackson County, to say the least. Like Independence has a few places. And I know that here in town, when we, during the cold weather, I think that we had a couple of hotels or motels that were helped through donations were housing some of those people for the time. But again, that's a Band-Aid on something that's grown. Oh, okay, yes.
Thank you. So for me, being with a history in the emergency room, what I see, if one thing to consider maybe in the future with planning is providing non-emergency transportation to shelters that are outside of our city if we are not going to have a shelter in our city. Otherwise, we're defaulting to EMS transporting to emergency rooms, and now we're taking up resources for EMS. We're taking up resources for our local hospitals, and so I just wanted to put that little tidbit in there.
There is transportation.
Yeah, so I would just add, I'd echo what Councilmember Rowan was saying. We did discuss that part of strategic planning. As Councilmember Brummel said, we have co-responders that are from comprehensive mental health that respond with our police officers, specifically in incidences where somebody's experienced a mental health crisis. And so they're trained, not only are officers trained, but we specifically have co-responders with our officers. Also, we do have essentially every resource that any other community has with social services, and connecting to those resources really happens through PD. And so a lot of the discussion we have in strategic planning was finding a better way to connect to those resources, transportation, shelters. We, through our community development block grant program, provide funding to CSL every year. And so a lot of that is being done, just the community doesn't know about it, or it's not very well advertised. And so we'll work on that, and especially in the coming year through the strategic planning process, we've realized that's a big issue. Do we have any data that necessarily supports specific growth in our houseless population? I don't think we do. I think it's all anecdotal. And so we'll respond accordingly to the issues that we know are happening in the community.
Good question.
Brian says talk more about parks. So.
Of course he does. The guy that's on the parks, yeah. The vice chair is wanting us to talk more about parks.
Brian, would you like to come out and talk to us about parks?
That's all I got for now.
Well, with that, I mean, it's been 50 minutes. Do we want to keep going, or we're ready to?
Tim Hortons opens next week. Soft opening for that.
Tim Hortons' soft openings next week, right? It's on Wednesday.
The Morning Star is tomorrow morning
Correct.
for the
At the
sorry, I'm gonna
Legion's
look at my
parking
phone
lot?
because that's where my schedule is. Then I also my notes.
I believe that's at the Legion's parking lot, right?
Yes,
Symphony's coming out next
Symphony's come. Oh, that was yours. I already talked
you.
about. I'm the Symphony.
I talked about the downtown.
Okay.
Tim
June-
Hortons. We're gonna talk about Tim Hortons.
Tim Hortons is a coffee shop. It's out of is it
The old Backyard Burger building.
Backyard Burger building, and then there's another one. Aren't they slated for Burger King over off of Witch Chapel as well? But the one that is opening next week? Next week is going to be the one on North 7 Highway where the old Backyard Burger was.
It's a coffee shop, and they have some bakery and that kind of stuff in there.
It's a national chain,
Canadian.
Canadian chain, an international chain.
There you go. And then the symphony is next Wednesday night.
I want to make sure I got it right. Yes, on June 11th at Rotary Park, we will have the symphony out here at 6:30. That's another big thing coming up. That'll be super fun. So make sure you come out for the downtown strategic planning on Tuesday, right here, 6:30, and then head over to Rotary Park on Wednesday. It's a full week for everybody at 6:30 for the symphony.
I think that's it. I think we've covered everything for now, and everybody knows that we're accessible by phone, text, Facebook, and email.
Correct. And I believe our plan is it'll be TBD on when and where, but we plan on doing this again at some point.
Absolutely.
Maybe in this setting or something a little bit different, but we'll look and see kind of how this went, go over the questions, and get back out to you guys again. We can't stress enough how building a good relationship with our community and again with the communities around us is going to be the most important thing moving us into the future. So I appreciate everybody that tuned in tonight, all the people that came out here. Councilman Brummel, Mayor, thank you so much.
Couldn't have done it without you. One more shameless plug for Brian and the Parks Department. Make sure
Oh,
that
yes.
you guys go on and fill out the survey. The only way that they know what to do on the master plan is to do that. And if anybody filled out the survey on the master plan for the strategic plan for the city, thank you for doing that as well. So the only way that we can get better is with our input and having more people involved. So definitely come out next week on the 10th from 6:30 to 8:30 right here in this room and help us with downtown. And make sure you do the survey. And if you need anything at all, definitely reach out to us.
I think that's it. Yeah, thank you.
And thank you for being here.